Okay, guys, let's begin. Today I am discussing Zhenli Yegon. Basically, he's a Chinese Mexican businessman, and he was arrested in 2007 for trafficking pseudoephedrine or ephedrine for his business to make methamphetamine. Now, these compounds weren't necessarily illegal, but it was known to the world that they were found in common cold medicine. So people were taking these common cold medicines, and there was a limit to them because people knew other people were making meth out of them. So this guy created a whole business and imported the whole chemical to Mexico. So think about how much millions this guy was making. Now, if you don't know a lot about meth, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's one of those drugs that is super highly addictive once you try it, but it's also the most lucrative drug there is because if you got the main chemical, which is ephedrine, you don't need to pay anyone else to make the product for you. You don't gotta go to Colombia. You don't gotta pay for shipping. You don't gotta. You don't need a drug mule to transport these to transport it over. As soon as you got ephedrine, you could use household items that literally you could find under your kitchen and make the stuff. I mean, I don't suggest it. It's dangerous. It could blow up in your face. But if you want to be Mr. Breaking Bad, then go ahead. Good luck to you. But don't do it. It ruins lives. Highly illegal. It's horrible for everyone, the community, the economy. It's just a horrible drug in general. But yes, this Asian businessman was getting rich off this because he would get it at a super low price, undervalued, and sell it above cost value. So here, I'll give you an example. When the American government caught up to him in 2007, he would call these things the black market sales, and he admitted that he sold chemicals for 2,400 to 3,000 per key. And the documents show that he would pay $49 per key. So he's paying $49 a key for ephedrine and selling it for 2,400 to 3,000. Look at that margin. That's more than 200% margin. That's a ridiculous number. And he was getting these things by the tons. But you know how life works. All good things must come to an end. Obviously, this wasn't a good thing. Okay, so let's talk about the arrest. In 2007, they raided his house and they found 207 million US dollars, 18 million Mexican pesos, 200,000 euros, 113,000 Hong Kong dollars, Mexican gold coins, a good amount of jewelry. What else? They had a war chest of automatic guns, 7 vehicles, a lab that looked to be in construction. So as you can see here, this wasn't no regular bust. This was a big time bust. And he was passing himself off as just being a regular businessman. Obviously, by the evidence, it supports that he was not no regular businessman. And after they raided his house, they couldn't find him. So he wasn't there, and he fled to the U.S. And when he was in the U.S., he got picked up 2 months later, around July, and he gave a few interviews about how it's a coup, that they're trying to frame him, that they were making him use all this money to support some type of political agenda. But because of all this money too, they even got him on money laundering, using the infamous HSBC bank, which is what most cartels were using during that time to launder their money, and got caught eventually. Many of the cartel lost money because all those assets that they had under the bank's name were frozen and they were locked out. So this guy had a big case against him. Mexico had money laundering charges, they had the weapons charges, and they had the drug charges that he was conspiring, and he knew that they were going to the U.S. But since the U.S. got him first, the U.S. was charging him with a single count of conspiracy to aid and abet the manufacture of 500 grams or more of methamphetamine, knowing or intending that it would be imported into the U.S. I mean, considering everything you just heard, that's not a big charge. Because Mexico wants to hit this guy with the book. So, the case goes to court in the U.S. and guess what? It falls apart because the witnesses weren't right. There was a lot of mistakes being done. The people who were cooperating wasn't cooperating as much. And after that case got dropped, now he was fighting for his life in jail because Mexico wanted to extradite him. And in 2016, they actually got to do that. And I got a few videos and clips here where you can see that. Now, like I mentioned before, he was extradited to Mexico in October 2016, and he was fighting for extradition to Mexico for 9 years while being incarcerated in the United States. Now, this whole time, he was holding up his innocence because he was saying that this all had to do with the Mexican government. And you know what? I believe the guy. It did have to do with the Mexican government because it's corrupt. But it takes two people to be corrupt, not just one person. You know what I'm saying? So he was definitely in on it. He's just mad that the Mexican government probably had pressure from elsewhere to drop this guy. I mean, even the Mexican people that lived there were believing this guy. There was a poll done by a newspaper over there, and it said that most Mexicans believed the story that he was framed by the government officials. They even had bumper stickers saying that I believe the Chinaman, and they were for sale. So this guy was fighting corruption, but you can tell he was also involved. So thank you for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe for more.